Radical left-wing forces, man, they really are, they're getting desperate. They're getting really, really desperate. Donald Trump has been breaking these people's brains for a decade now. I mean, and there are people, some of these are like really impressively powerful, pretty persuasive people, and they don't even remember whatever values or identity they used to have. You know, they've become basically Trump derangement-fueled, Trump-hating shells of whatever and whoever they used to be. And the Lincoln Project is full of just really, really great examples of this. You know, people like George Conway, people like Stuart Stevens, who I'm going to show you here, they really do think they're Republicans. They talk about being Republican. They talk about being conservative. And at the moment, they're just totally mask off, just full-throatedly supporting Kamala Harris, the most radical person to ever run for president ever in this country. And they're doing it all because they hate Donald Trump. They always say the same thing. They say, you know, he's got to be stopped because of what he's doing to America, but they never ever can tell you what exactly he personally is doing to America. And anytime you ask him, like with all these people, all roads lead back to the 4-hour period on one day, January 6th. And this is who these people really are.
This isn't a normal election. All this stuff we talk about, inflation, the economy, that's not what this race is going to be about. It's not what 22 is about. This race is about one thing, Donald Trump and what he's doing to America. And it's going to be a referendum on Trump. And when you say these things, you have to come out and support Harris. It's a binary choice. One of these two people is going to be president. My old client, Chris Christie, he has to endorse Harris.
But will he? I mean, these are all people we're waiting. I mean,
I don't understand intellectually or morally how you cannot.
Kristen Sununu in New Hampshire used to be all over the place, making a moral case against Trump. He has endorsed him.
I think Katie's point is the right one. Why would any Republican who believes in any of the old or new tenets of the Republican Party vote for Kamala Harris? She's going to pack the court. Remember, her voting record was as the most liberal senator. Her platform for president was as liberal or to the left of Bernie Sanders. Why would any Republican, how could they possibly reach the conclusion that by voting for this somehow returns us to the conservative way? It makes no sense.
I can answer that. The reason you would vote for it is because all the stuff that we used to say, the character counts, the character is destiny, that you believe in the Constitution, that if you really believe that, and they weren't marketing slogans, there's only one candidate that supports that.
And that's what Jeff Duncan was saying. I agree with that. That's what he was saying. Jeff Duncan was saying that. When he gave his speech, that's what he was saying. He was saying, guess what? I don't necessarily agree with the Democratic Party. I am not a Democrat, but I do know that former President Trump does not believe in the rule of law. So do I vote for someone who doesn't believe in the rule of law, or do I vote for someone who doesn't want the same policies?
These people, man, they really have been damaged. These people, they really have become sick. And guys, if you've ever read or listened to Michael Savage, he's been saying for 20 years that liberalism is a mental disorder. And honestly, man, I thought that was a bit extreme when I first heard it, way back then, 2005 or whatever. And I really thought it was just to piss off liberals because it really did that. But dude, the guy was absolutely right. And honestly, he wasn't totally right. I mean, it was worse than anyone could have possibly ever thought. And these people here, man, self-professed Republicans, they're trying to tell you that if character matters, if you believe in the Constitution, there's only one candidate that supports that, they say. It's just completely insane. And then they go on and, talk about their other favorite talking points. They say Donald Trump, he doesn't believe in the rule of law. What does that even mean? I mean, is anyone who's ever been convicted of something, either justly or unjustly, is that person someone who no longer believes in the rule of law? But someone like Kamala Harris, an attorney general that literally defied the Supreme Court in order to keep nonviolent black men in prison past their sentence just to provide cheap labor to the state of California, that's apparently a person that believes in the rule of law. It doesn't make any sense. There's no logic to it. And Scott Jennings, man, you gotta love Scott Jennings. I mean, this guy, every single day, he battles these insane talking points and even more insane people. And you gotta respect Scott Jennings, man. As you watch this, watch Stuart Stevens' face, man. This guy is totally lost. Just watch his face as he says, if you don't vote for Kamala Harris, that you're not a patriot.
Jeff said something in his speech that actually hit and by the way, he's our colleague, and I'm not. It's not a personal attack, but he said he sort of inferred that if you don't vote for Harris, you're not a patriot.
I would agree with that.
And I have to tell you how profoundly poorly that's going to hit a lot of Republican ears. Look, there are plenty of Republican voters who are lukewarm on Trump. Maybe they wish he hadn't run again, whatever. But to be told that your choice is, your patriotism is dependent upon your choice just because you prefer a Republican government.
You prefer
I thought that was a poor argument. I thought that was a poor
prefer
argument.
someone who didn't try to overthrow the government.
The
of the
Republicans
United
are saying
States.
you're not an American if you vote for Harris.
I've never heard anyone say
I've
that.
heard many of them say that.
People were making fun of us because we were women. Yes, people were literally questioning us because we wanted to wave our own flag at the Democratic National Convention, talking about when did they start loving America? From the day I was born. Here's the thing. He's not saying that you're not a patriot if you vote for Donald Trump. He's just saying, this is my interpretation of it. He's saying, I love this country beyond any one person. And somebody who tried to overthrow our election, somebody who didn't stop for hours, because I'm pretty sure we agree on this, because we've talked about this even on air. When an insurrection was happening at the Capitol, when you support somebody who has done that, that is not patriotic. And then when you have that be your party's nominee, sometimes you got to call a spade a spade.
Honestly, I'm actually surprised how easily these people still throw around the word insurrection. I'm actually surprised they're allowed to on network news. The FBI itself determined that there was not an insurrection. They've determined that there was nothing coordinated about it. They've confirmed that there were no firearms brought into the Capitol. And look, man, there's no excusing it. J6 was a horrible thing to happen, but all it was an angry, out of control mob, just like every other angry, out of control mob of the prior 6 months. Just angry people that didn't feel heard, but they were Republican. So that makes that group insurrectionists. That makes it an insurrection. But when leftists rushed the Capitol during the Kavanaugh confirmation, that was just the First Amendment. When liberals literally set fire and flipped police cars during Trump's inauguration, they didn't even address that. That was just completely ignored. When they burned down the church across the street from the White House, that was all Trump's fault. And it was all okay because of St. Floyd. I mean, these are not serious people, man. And honestly, it's getting old. I'm really good at ignoring all the insurrection garbage, but it's getting old, man, especially when they try to use it as some sort of moral high ground to excuse supporting a literal communist in Kamala Harris. I mean, that's exactly what they're doing. They want you to believe that even though she has no real values and can't speak extemporaneously, that because of January 6th, you got to support Kamala Harris. I mean, it is completely insane, guys. And I'll keep going. But first, guys, if you haven't already, hit the like button and subscribe. It really, really does go a long way to helping us grow.
Because that happened does not mean I or Katie or any other Republican has to give up on every single value that we've ever had, whether it has to do with taxes or the court or any other policy. You're asking Republicans to turn over the government to absolute radical liberals over one day, and I'm not prepared to do it because I believe policy choices I believe they matter to the future of the country.
And what policies are you endorsing if you endorse Kamala Harris?
I'll tell
We
you what
still
you
don't
are
know
endorsing
fully.
if you endorse
Let me finish real
Donald
quick,
Trump.
please. We still fully don't know. Are we going to get the 2019 Kamala Harris, who came out of California and had all these liberal positions, that she wanted to ban fracking, that she supported the Green New Deal, and now we're hearing from advisors and mixed things. Oh, maybe she doesn't, maybe doesn't. Are we going to have 2019 Kamala Harris from California? Or are we going to have a new Kamala Harris who wants to win swing states and the position changes?
Either one is better than Donald Trump.
On any
These people are always good for the quiet part out loud at least once or twice in any conversation, but that's probably the most true thing you'll hear any of these people say. They can't talk about policy. They really can't talk about the character of their candidate. They can't talk about her beliefs, her position. And if you miss what I'm talking about, here's what these people believe. This young lady just asked, which Kamala Harris do we get? The radical who wants to ban fracking, open jails, destroy insurance companies, and all the other crazy things? Or do we get the one who just said she changed her mind through some nameless, faceless campaign spokesperson in the hopes that she could probably trick some swing state voters? That's a great question. That is a great question. That's a question that no one, probably not even Kamala herself, can answer. And then this Republican says, either one of those people are better than President Trump. I mean, this is who these people are, man. They do not care. They will literally burn down the entire country to stop one guy, and they're going to feel good about it. But this is how you know these people have no values. They have no principles. You know, you can talk about principles all you want, but you cannot be a principled conservative and vote for Kamala Harris. There's just no possible way. There's no planet that is possible. If you are a principled conservative, you cannot vote for Kamala Harris, you know, or any other gun-grabbing, speech-silencing, price-fixing communist.
If you believe, Scott, let me just,
Listen,
Scott, just a
All right,
second.
let me let
Give me
Stuart
1 second,
get his point.
I can remember being on the bus with you, with Romney, and this is something that really stuck with me. And one of the aides who worked for you had misspelled something in a press release. And you very, very nicely, you weren't mean, you said, this is someone running for the presidency of the United States, to sit in the Oval Office. We have to be at that level and treat it with that respect. How do you say that? And then you get Donald Trump, a sexual predator, a criminal, someone who we know is just a horrible human being who doesn't believe in what we believe in rule of law. And how all this policy stuff, they're not going to remember what the tax rate was or what, you know. This is basically, it is a character test, Scott.
It's more than that. It's more than what the tax rate is. Profound policy implications and decisions are coming from the next administration. I firmly believe if the Democrats win, and if they somehow keep control of the Senate, which I don't think is likely, but is possible, they will eliminate the filibuster, and they will change this country in a way that we can never recover. That is important to me.
What
Now,
does that
listen,
look like?
I don't begrudge
like,
your
Scott.
viewpoint, but you cannot begrudge a Republican for wondering, hey, maybe it's not a great idea for us to drive off the left side of the road so far we can never find our way back.
That's an impossible point to argue. I mean, Scott Jennings, like I said, man, God bless the guy, and his point is great. How far off the left side of the road do you want to go in order to make yourself feel good, in order to get rid of the guy that you say doesn't believe in the rule of law? You know, what are you willing to risk? Are you willing to let them end the filibuster, pack the court, defy the court, price fix? I mean, what are you willing to destroy in order to pretend to be a principled conservative? You know, none of this stuff is real. I mean, like I said, there is no universe where a normal, well-adjusted person believes any of the things that these people are saying. It's not possible, man. You know, people like this, you know, the Lincoln Projects of the world, the Adam Kinzingers, the Mitt Romneys of the world, these are not actually principled people. These are paid propagandists. You know, they're just a part of the machine that's literally trying to take everything from you, man. That is all these people are, you know, just empty puppets. But anyway, that's my view at least. And that's all I got, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't already, be a part of our growth. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. I'll see you in the next one.